Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year 2016. I am your host, Asaph Adonai. This is the very first taping of Asaph Cafe for the year 2016. And I'm very delighted to have two wonderful ladies that will be my very first guest. Our featured guest is Miss Susannah Cragwick, and she's on my immediate left. And then, of course, Teresa Toigo, who's been our guest on this show before and one of our regulars now.
I'd like to say hello to my cousins in Concord, New Hampshire.
There's the camera.
Hi, Fire Chief Dan Andrus and Reverend Cheryl Moore and MJ. Happy New Year.
And I'd like to say hi to my mom and hi to all of my wonderful students that are going to be watching this show. Hi.
Yeah, hello, Patty. That's Susannah's mom. So I just wanted to wish you a happy new year. You'll see this, and of course, this show will air next week on regular TV. So, so happy new year, Patty and Matthew. And what's your other brother's name?
Chris.
Chris, yeah. So to the Cragwick family, on behalf of Asaph and Asaph Cafe, happy new year, all of you. And it'll be a cool thing. Yeah, why not? I told you the show's so impromptu. You never know what we're going to do. I'm going to start out with Burt Bacharach's This Guy's in Love with You, which is a traditional song. It's my theme song. You've probably heard me play this song before.
Yeah, I've heard this one. This is one of the ones that you do at the mall sometimes.
Yeah, this is my theme song. It's called This Guy's in Love with You. Well, I'm glad you ladies are here today.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad to be here. And
did you have a nice New Year?
Yes, I did. I'll talk about that in a moment.
Yeah, my New Year was pretty good. My family was just at home and we enjoyed some like old classic movies and just.
You mean just you and your family?
Just relaxed. Yeah, we just spent New Year's with just me and my family.
That's a wonderful thing. What did you do, Teresa?
I went to Billings and visited my family. We ate the whole time I was there.
It's that time of year. Yeah, I mean, there's so many goodies. I mean, like, today we have cake to snack on, and, like, in my house there's just, like, people are continually grazing. There's always some sort of sweets out, divinity, chocolates, tons of good stuff.
Good. And here's the conclusion of the song.
Hey, sweet.
That's the end of this song here. And it's such a cool song.
That's your theme song?
That is my theme song.
I recognize it, yeah.
Now, I didn't write this song, obviously. A composer named Burt Bacharach wrote this song in the early 60s.
Hey.
And a famous trumpeter, I don't know if you ever heard of him, a famous trumpeter named Herb Alpert.
Yeah, I think I have.
He made the song famous. He sang the song and played his trumpet on there. And the song went on to become a big hit. So people have done it over the years.
It's one of those that's become pretty famous.
Yeah, it's like classic standard tune, This Guy's in Love with You. Burt Bacharach's the composer. So it's 2016 now, and it's my theme song now.
It's a good way to start the year, I guess.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, you were talking about gifts and stuff with your family, and first of all, I'm going to start off with one of the gifts that I got for Christmas, thanks to our guest here.
Oh.
This is a Santa frog, and it sings, and I'm going to demonstrate that.
Oh, he's adorable.
Yes. Jingle bells.
Now, who gave that to you, Asaph?
I forgot. No, you did.
Oh, that is so fun.
Teresa got that actually for me.
And he sings jingle bells? He ribbits jingle bells?
Yeah, he ribbits jingle bells. But see, once you start, you can't stop it until it gets to the end of the song.
He needs to sing all the way through. I don't like being interrupted in the middle of the song either.
I had that in my backpack, and it was going off. And these kids, they were smiling.
Oh, Probably wondering what kind of sound that was.
Yeah.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
There you go.
See, now me and Froggy can do a duet. He can rivet and
Yeah,
I
he
will
can rivet
sing.
and you can sing. So, but I've had a pretty blessed Christmas this year. And of course, another thing I got for Christmas, you know how they show all those cartoons every year, like the Charlie
classic
Brown Christmas?
movies? Oh, yeah.
I got all the Christmas movies for Christmas this year. I have the Charlie Brown Christmas,
Sweet.
and I have Dr. Seuss How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and it's been remastered. So when
Oh,
you put the
that's classic.
DVD on, it looks like it's brand new. The colors are brighter.
Uh-huh.
And I also got the movie version of The Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey. I don't know if you ever saw that or not.
Oh, yeah, my family has that one.
Yeah, and these are all DVDs. And then, of course, the other gifts I got for Christmas this year,
Uh-huh.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. You know how they show that on TV every year?
Right, yeah.
And this is the 50th anniversary of Rudolph. Can you believe this
Oh.
is 50 years old?
It's
Yeah.
it's the 50th anniversary of
Yeah,
Rudolph and
Rudolph the Red-Nosed
yeah.
Reindeer they show every year. And
wow.
with Burl Ives, the snowman, the singer. He was a
Oh
famous
my
singer in the
gosh,
past.
I remember
yeah.
watching that pretty much every year with
And
my
I
family.
also got Frosty the Snowman,
Uh,
the cartoon that they show on TV every
another
year.
classic.
This
Uh-huh.
is the 45th anniversary. You see, Rudolph is 50 years old. This is 45 years old.
So pretty close.
Yeah. And then, of course, this is not in the collection of what they show on TV every year, but I also got this for Christmas, Horton Hears a Who, the movie.
Oh,
Jim
cute.
Carrey, yeah. It's based on Dr. Seuss book, and it's very funny.
Oh, the Dr. Seuss stuff is classic.
And this is based on the cartoon, too. It's just like watching the cartoon, only it's got more, like, special effects.
Yep,
and
I remember
so on.
reading the book, and when we were little, I think my mom had some of those Dr. Seuss books memorized because we would ask her to read them like so many times.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then my final gift, I got all DVDs for Christmas this year. An old television show from the past called I Spy with Robert Culp and a young Bill Cosby.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to watch this show when I was a kid growing up, and I had forgotten all about it.
Really?
And when I got this for Christmas, I was like, oh, you got to be kidding. I Spy? This was such a
Wow.
cool show of the past. And what was groundbreaking about this show, Bill Cosby is the first African-American actor to ever get a lead on television at that time in the early
Oh,
60s.
really? Oh.
Yeah, there was a lot of racial issues, unfortunately, in the late 50s and
Mm-hmm.
early 60s, and civil rights movement was new then, and
Sure, so it was kind of
So it was
groundbreaking,
groundbreaking to
revolutionary
see
to
this,
see
yeah.
him on that show.
And another thing that was groundbreaking about this television show, they were the first spy show. You know, they had other spy shows like The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Get Smart, with Don Adams.
Aye, you'll have to
And,
introduce me to some of those. I
yeah.
don't know those.
I know it's before your time. I'll just give you a little history. There were a lot of spy shows. The Wild Wild West with Robert Conrad, but see, this I Spy, they were the first spy show to actually go on location around the world.
They actually traveled to
They
different
traveled
places.
to different countries like Vietnam and Europe and so on.
Wow.
And all the other spy shows at that time were at the Desilu studio or some other studio.
Uh-huh.
And so that's why this show was so groundbreaking in its time. And then, of course,
Yeah, in more ways than one.
all the other spy shows went on to go on location.
Wow.
So that's a little history of I Spy, but it was just such a cool...
Yeah, I'll have to look up some episodes of it or
Yeah, you can take a
watch
peek.
some
You can see how
episodes.
young Bill Cosby was in that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I used to watch the Cosby Show with my dad, I think. when
Well,
I was
this
a
is
little bit
way
older.
before.
Like way before
yeah,
that,
he looks like a kid in this series here.
Yeah, like so young.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You know
Seen
some?
this?
I recognize it, but
That's
it's
the
like
thing
I
in
don't
Mr.
know all the
Rogers'
words.
Neighborhood. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Yeah. I know it to hear it, but I haven't memorized all the words to it. Are you gonna sing, Asaph?
Oh, I don't sing.
No, you're not. You're not gonna sing.
No, I'm afraid not. I don't sing. I don't do that. I'll let Frank Sinatra do my singing for me.
Oh, Blue Blue Eyes?
Yellow Blue Eyes, yeah.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah. I took choir when I was a kid. Oh, and I absolutely hated it. Ugh,
Really?
I cringed. And my choir teacher used to say, "You sound good, Asaph." I'm like, yuck. Shut up. I hate this class.
You prefer
I had to take it
the
for my-
instruments
Yeah,
instead?
I preferred the instruments, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So,
I can't sing, but I like to go to karaoke.
well, there's nothing
Oh,
wrong
yeah. Hey, it's just for fun.
with that. Let's see. I know you know this song.
I do.
What a wonderful world.
Ah, yeah.
Do you know the words to this song?
I do?
Okay, you're welcome to sing along if you'd like it.
I see trees of green, red roses too.
Good.
I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself,
Good. Keep going.
what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright, blessed day, the dark, sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow,
Okay.
so pretty in the
I'm sorry, forgive me. Keep going.
sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying how do you do. They're really saying I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself,
Good.
what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Beautiful.
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 Can you teach me how to sing?
She's probably good.
I'll teach you how to sing. You teach me how to
I
play.
don't know how to.
We'll party at karaoke.
Oh, but I got 2 new flutes.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, will you get those
Those
flutes
are
for
so
Christmas
cool.
there? Those were for
Yeah,
Christmas?
my grandson made them.
Okay, let's see,
Awesome.
and what other songs do you know? We might as well feature you and have you do some singing today, too. Let's ask a few questions about you first while you rest your
Okay.
vocal cords.
Sure.
You're from Missoula? Were you born here?
I was born in Butte, Montana.
Butte, Montana?
Actually, yeah, and I lived in Butte for about 19 years.
And you have 2 brothers, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have 2 brothers, and I have one older brother and one younger brother,
Yeah.
and I'm the only girl.
Yes,
So
okay.
my mom always says that I'm the rose between the 2 thorns. Ha ha, Maggie.
Hey, that's pretty cool. Hey, I guess if you're a girl and you have 2 brothers, you could be the rose and they could be the thorns. Anyway, so, and then you went to the university after that, right?
Yeah, so I went to the university starting in 2005, and I got my bachelor's degree in
Okay.
music performance in
Good.
2009, and
Well,
then
it
I...
shows the performance. I mean, you sing really well. And
Thank you.
Susie's sat in with me at the mall this year and the year
Oh.
before that, I believe it was.
Yep, did
And,
some Christmas songs.
Yeah, and the first year that she sat in with me, there were a bunch of kids, I remember. There must have been about 15 kids, and they were in a school of some sort, if I remember, with teachers. And Susie happened to be singing some sort of Christmas song. And I remember the kids just kind of stood around the piano and near where this young lady was and just froze. And they were listening to this young lady sing. And it was, I don't remember the Christmas song, but it was a good one.
Yeah,
I think it was Frosty or something like that.
I think it was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, because I remember there were two little kids and they had just bought Rudolph, and is it Clarice, Rudolph's little girlfriend?
Oh yeah.
And they were holding up the Rudolph and the Clarice dolls as I was singing.
I'm going to play a song here. Tell me if you know the name of this one here.
It's another one that I recognize, but I'm like, what is this?
You know it?
Do you know it?
I know the words.
It's like an old hymn, isn't it?
No, you're
No?
close.
It's like,
Sorta.
Huh.
Here, you'll probably
Sounds like
recognize it.
gospel-ish,
You'll probably
but-
get this part.
Yeah, it's so familiar. I don't think I'm winning the music quiz game today.
That's okay. That is called My Old Kentucky Home.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, they play that song during the horse races every year.
I
The
recognized
Churchill
it, but I
Downs
was
and-
like, what is this?
Yeah, that is called My Old Kentucky Home. This is kind of a little classical version of it. Do the verse here. Recognize it?
Yeah, I've heard it before.
That's enough of that.
Cool.
But anyway, yeah, that's called My Old Kentucky Home. And
You know
I just
how to play
feel
a lot
blessed
of
to be
stuff.
able. Yeah, I feel blessed to be able to do all of these songs. I had a really good piano teacher that taught me how to take popular music and make it sound classical
Oh,
instead
okay,
of the
yeah.
traditional. Well, and I've demonstrated this before. Like the
Uh-huh.
girl from Ipanema, normally it would sound something like this in a piano bar. Something like the. See,
Uh-huh.
and there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine.
It's kind of simple. And
Yeah, and that's the way they usually do popular music, but I might do something like this. See, something like this.
it adds a little bit more texture to it.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
something like that, you know.
Very cool.
But it doesn't matter because it's just popular music, which is fun, and, you know, you probably don't have to practice it like 8 hours a day like if you're doing a Rachmaninoff piece, but...
Yeah, you can just kind of play for fun and
But see, I
put
like...
your own spin on things.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I like classical music, but I like popular music too, and there's more of a big demand for it, especially when you do fun songs like My Old
Oh,
Kentucky Home
yeah.
and all. You can reach more people.
It's good to kind of mix.
Yeah, and I'm not
things
picking
up.
on classical music, but that's like way down the totem pole compared to all the other musics these days, like country and rap and rock and
There's just
pop
a
and
big variety of stuff.
yeah, there's just so many varieties and stuff like that.
It's good to be well-rounded, I guess.
Well, let's try this song here. See if you know this one here.
I know it. Beat it.
Yeah, there you.
Oh yeah, like when it first started, I was like, "What is this?" And now I recognize it.
Recognize it?
Uh huh.
I'll do it again. It's a pretty cool
Oh,
song.
Michael Jackson.
Something like that.
You need to get up and start moonwalking around the studio.
Yeah, no, I can't do one, but
Me either.
so listen,
I
let's
like
get
this
back
song.
to you so your audience can know more about you. After
Yeah.
you said you got your bachelor's
Uh-huh.
degree in
I
singing.
got my bachelor's degree in music performance, and
Mm-hmm.
then I took a small break, and then I decided to go for my master's degree, and I got my master's degree in 2012 in
Singing.
vocal performance. Yeah. So, and then I kind of took a completely different route. I've always enjoyed being with the international students, you know, helping them with English conversation, and I met some students that were from Saudi Arabia. So, like, I decided to start learning Arabic, like, just for fun. I wasn't planning on working teaching Arabic or doing anything with the
Uh-huh.
language,
Mhm.
and I just ended up just falling in love with it, and I
That is cool.
love talking with the people, and I ended up excelling in the language. So
Good
now
for you.
I'm still learning it. I'm, you know,
Can you say Happy New Year in Arabic?
Yeah, why don't you do that? Can you say that in Arabic? Or say whatever you want to say in Arabic. Anything that
let's
you're comfortable
see.
with.
like Happy New Year, السنة الجديدة سعيدة.
Cool. I'll settle for that. I'll settle for that. I'm gonna put this mic here. I want your voice to pick
do
up.
some like simple things like saying hello is like مرحبا.
Cool.
Saying welcome is أهلا وسهلا.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, we had one of your...
just kind of simple things.
Thank you, that's cool. Well, we had one of your, I think, Saudi Arabian friends on the last
I
cafe we did
that.
for 2015,
yeah.
honey.
You sent
I
me
can't
the
pronounce
YouTube
her.
video for that.
Yeah, she was our last guest for 2015.
Oh yeah, she's fun. She's adorable.
Yeah, she is, and real sweetie.
Yeah.
Of course, you are too. And now you're
thank
my
you.
first guest for
And the
for
first
this
guest
show.
of
You're
the
the
new
first
year?
guest for the brand new. Well, I had it
Yeah.
planned. I was going to have you be the first guest
Awesome.
on the cafe for 2016.
Cool.
And of course, Teresa is one of the regulars here, so she's like family and
Sweet.
stuff like that.
Yeah, so I've managed to get to know a lot of different international students and people from different cultures in the community. So it's really helped me to learn a lot about different cultures and different languages, and I also teach English as a second language.
Okay.
So I have some students here that I work with, and then I also teach online. So I
Okay.
actually run my own like home teaching business, teaching via the internet. So again, I'd like to say hi to my students. Hi to my
Sure.
students in Athens and Russia and Italy and China and yeah.
Speaking
hi guys.
of Russia, if you know this song. You ever heard this song?
It's one of those that I think I should know. I'm gonna know it once you tell me, and then I'll be like, oh man.
I'll give you a hint. He's a spy.
I bet Teresa knows.
From Russia with Love. It's the James Bond theme.
Oh, geez.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll do it again. You might recognize it.
Did you watch all the James Bond movies?
Just about.
Yeah.
So that's from Russia with Love. That's one of the James Bond theme songs. Yeah,
Very
they had a
cool.
bunch of, oh gosh, they must have made about, what, 20 James Bond films,
Oh,
I guess, by now.
I bet. I lost count. I don't even know.
The first one was Dr. No,
Uh-huh.
with a very young Sean Connery, the actor.
Yeah.
That was the one that started the series, Dr. No. That was pretty cool.
Oh, very
Had
cool.
some movie stars that have passed, like Jack Lord, who played McGarrett on the original Hawaii Five-O. He
Uh-huh.
was one of the characters in that movie. But Sean Connery was the man.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't for
getting
Sean Connery.
a little
there
older
probably
now.
would- well, yeah, I know. I mean, he was really young then.
Yeah.
And of course, they went on to make a lot of James Bond movies and have other actors eventually play James Bond after Sean Connery. And
Oh, sure.
Are you
Stuff.
going to see the new Star Wars movie?
probably not. I'm not really into Star Wars.
You're not really into.
No, I'm not really
Star
into
Wars?
it. I worked
Yeah.
at the Art and Theater in California when I
Uh-huh.
was in my probably early 20s. When Return of the Jedi, the third in the Star Wars,
Uh-huh.
and they had 6 theaters in there, so all day long they were packing folks in there to see the
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi, and you
Oh,
go home at the end of
fun.
the day like head ringing,
Uh-huh.
hearing that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Something like that, but anyway.
You had to play a little bit of the theme
Well, yeah.
for it.
And you know,
Yeah.
it just. I mean, Star Wars is okay. I'm more of a Star Trek fan. I'm a Trekkie.
Oh,
But you know what's
yeah.
neat about Star
Are
Wars
ya?
and Star Trek and all those other science fiction shows? whatever you like, you like. Some like Star Wars, some like Star Trek, some like both.
My brother is really into
yeah.
that sort of like that type of movies that's like science fiction and stuff like that. And I get the characters mixed up, and I'll talk about one character, and he's like, "That's not Star Wars, that's Star Trek."
Well, you know, I have 2 moms, and my birth
Uh-huh.
mom, she was not a Star Trek fan.
No.
She couldn't get past Mr. Spock's ears.
Oh.
So that didn't work for her. She's like, "Come that man got those pointed ears." And I say, "Mom, it has nothing to do with his ears. He's an alien from a different culture."
Oh.
So,
Hey.
well, she just couldn't get past the ears.
Oh,
I
that's
want to
funny.
see that show, The Good Dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Cool. But, you know, time has flown. We've done
Sweet.
35 minutes already.
Wow.
Told you.
Time flies.
It
You
just
should
flies.
sing
You're
some
going to be
more.
doing, yeah, I'm going to have her sing.
Ah.
You'll be doing the second show anyway, and we'll talk about other things too.
Yeah, we
But getting
can talk
back
about
to
pretty
your,
much anything.
just going in chronological order so the studio audience or TV audience can know more about you. You got
Uh-huh.
your master's degree and you're teaching
Yeah, so I got
the
so
other
I was
students from different cultures.
teaching English, and now I'm the teacher's assistant for the Arabic department at the
university?
hmm
What do you have any future plans so far, what you might want to do?
Well, I love teaching, so the best way to describe it is that I'm completely happy with what I'm doing now. I just want to do it more.
Good.
I think I might want to maybe go abroad and teach English, but I haven't decided exactly where I want to go, like which country I want to go to.
Uh-huh.
So, but
It'll
yeah,
come to you at
I
the right time.
absolutely love teaching, and especially doing one-on-one lessons. I'll sometimes teach in a classroom setting, but I just love getting to know the students one-on-one, and yeah.
Okay.
So, teaching is awesome. I
Cool.
love it so much. Yeah, and then during the summers, I work with the Montana Arabic Summer Institute, and we teach beginner and intermediate level Arabic to high school students in the community, and there's
Cool.
students that come from other states like Florida and Texas and other places. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's really fun.
I hope you make the... I wish you well in that. It's exciting.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you know this song?
Forever, just because this is the song that never ends.
Never mind.
Are we gonna go
I was
on
just
and
doing
on
it,
with
yeah.
this? We'll do this the whole next show.
Yeah, I don't know.
Please
Well,
no.
No, I won't. I'll stop on that song. But you know, I'm dating myself because I used to watch Sherry Lewis when I was in the first grade before my mom was
Oh,
singing
yeah?
after school. Well, she had really long hair back in those days. It went down to her back. You know,
Uh-huh.
everybody's going to remember her when she was older with the curly hair.
Yeah, that's how
But
I
when-
remember her with the
Yeah, but
lamb
when I was a
chop.
little boy, she really had long hair. It was red, long hair down to her back.
Wow.
And Lamb Chop and Charlie Horse were really primitive. They were like sock
Like sock puppets?
puppet characters at that time. And it was a fun children's show to watch.
Yeah, you listen to that song, you always think of that show.
Well, they didn't have
Uh-huh.
that song at that time. But
I think of
I mean, when that show
song and I
evolved-
think of that show.
yeah, when that show evolved, that's when they eventually put that on there. And then, of course, the characters like Charlie Horse and all the rest, they evolved to the puppets instead of the sock. It looked just
Yeah.
like them with the sock thing.
Uh-huh.
Ventriloquism or whatever she did at that time. But yeah,
Oh,
I
sweet.
remember Sherry Lewis. Yeah, she was just such
Yeah,
a
I
neat...
remember like the short curly red
Yeah,
hair.
that's
and-
when she was older. You have to
Uh-huh.
go on the YouTube and look up early Sherry Lewis and you can see her
Oh yeah,
when she
I'll-
had the
I'll have to do
beautiful
that.
long hair. She must have been maybe in her late 20s, I think,
when she started.
when she first started that.
Mm-hmm.
See, when I was a little boy, they had a series of children's television shows like Captain Kangaroo. You probably never heard of those.
I have.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. Oh,
Bob
yeah.
Keeshan was the actor that played the lead on that.
Uh-huh.
And they had a character called Mr. Green Jeans. He used to wear these like overalls, and he was.
Oh,
they just would teach kids.
My
you
dad
know.
talks about growing up watching some
Yeah,
of those
Captain
shows.
Kangaroo. And then there was another
uh-huh.
one, Kukla Fran and Ollie. She was
Oh,
a
yeah?
puppeteer too. And,
Wow.
oh gosh, they had a slew of them. This was all before Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood came
Uh-huh.
out. And of course, eventually Mr. Rogers and his evolved even more because they talked about subjects like self-esteem for kids and, you know, that sort of thing.
Like, kind of relevant stuff. And,
Yeah, and they were all
but
kind of
in like
relevant.
an easy, casual,
Mhm.
way.
Well,
for
each
kids.
one of those were different. They were different in their own right, but they all worked.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I remember, I think I've seen some old episodes of Captain Kangaroo, and I grew up watching Sesame Street.
Yeah, that
So
eventually came into existence too.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Here's a little Beethoven for you.
Sweet.
You recognize it?
Yeah.
It's not really a piano song, you know. That's all I can do on that.
You can make anything into a piano song.
Well, technically, but it sounds better when it's an orchestral song because it's an orchestral song. Well, anyway, like I was saying, I hope you get a chance to go overseas and share your gifts and your talents, not only singing,
that would
but
be awesome. I would
teaching
love
and-
that.
Yeah, we'll probably hear about you on the 6 o'clock news one day.
Hopefully it'll be good news.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, and this is Ted Koppel and who's the current Cookie Roberts or whoever the current
I'm not even sure.
Brian Williams. I don't know. Well, there's so many of them, but anyway, yeah, we'll probably hear about you. We'll be talking about you on the 6 o'clock evening
I'll
news.
be famous.
Yeah, you'll be famous.
I'll work on it.
Yeah. Oh, here's a fun song. See if you recognize it.
I know this one.
Let's see if she knows it.
I recognize it. Yeah, I've definitely heard it before. What is it?
Well, it has 2 titles, actually. But you do recognize the song, huh?
Yeah. I've heard you
Beautiful
play
song.
it before. I think
Yeah.
it's one of your, kind of have your favorites that you kind of cycle through.
Yes.
Yep.
It's called Nadia's Theme, is its real name.
Oh,
They use it
yeah.
on the television show The Young and the Restless.
Hey.
It's a theme song.
You know the theme songs to everything.
Yeah, I've been doing this since I was 10 years old, kind of like you, probably singing all your life, you know. You just after a while, it just becomes second nature, you know.
Yep.
And I don't know if you know the story about how I started playing the piano. I don't know if you know that
I
story.
don't know if I've heard that one.
Well, this is a true story. You know, my father was in the military, so I come from a military family. We used to travel. We just got back from Taipei, Taiwan, and my dad was stationed at Langley Air Force Base up there in Hampton, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And it was sort of like a big high-rise apartment on the base, that kind of thing. Kind of like the Jeffersons, you know how they lived in a big high-rise.
Yep.
And my father had a habit of drinking vodka and gin a lot. And so he'd get to drinking that stuff, and he'd leave the house and come home with something brand new, like a toaster, towels, a lamp, you know, dishes, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Whenever he'd leave. And one day he was feeling really good, so he left home and brought a brand new piano home.
Well, and that's how you started playing?
That's how the whole thing
you got
started.
your first piano?
That's how the whole thing started. And my mom,
Wow.
my birth mom, had a fit. After she called him every name in the book and cried for a while. Because
Oh, boy.
nobody knew anything about the piano. It was brand new. I mean, we're not talking used. My dad went out there and just for whatever reason bought a brand new piano and brought it home.
Wow.
And so my mom was too poor to have it taken back. I wrote about that in my autobiography. She was
Uh-huh.
too poor to have it taken back, so she had to live with it. And then I started messing around with it, but I didn't get any lessons because I was only like 8 or 9.
Uh-huh.
And then when my father got stationed in Sacramento, of course, the piano went with us because it was brand new.
Well, sure, yeah.
And then I eventually started taking lessons, the theory,
Uh-huh.
and I started taking trumpet lessons too, which was
Wow.
fun. Because, you know, when you're a kid, you don't want to play no piano. You want to play something cool like a trumpet or a tuba or, you know, like everybody
Uh-huh.
else.
Yeah.
So I went to that phase of taking trumpet lessons, but I knew how to play the piano too.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, I've told people over the years, I've done some fun things with the trumpet
Yeah.
over the years.
Yeah, there was the short documentary on YouTube
Yeah, about the trumpet
about the
years.
trumpet.
But
yeah.
I knew how to play the piano all along, and eventually I decided to become a full-time pianist, and the rest is history. So that's kind of
Alright.
the short version of my music years.
That's how you got your first piano?
But that's how I got my first. I think it was like 8 or 9 at that time. On the Air
Oh.
Force Base up there in Hampton, Virginia. My dad was drinking vodka that morning, left the house, and a few hours later came home with his brand new piano. Spanking brand new. Well, he had my dad.
Wow.
Well, my dad wasn't exactly poor. He was, you know, he made a pretty decent living
Mm-hmm.
in the military. And in those days, if you served years, you get paid a lot more.
Sure.
Now, I don't know how they do it now in 2016, but at
So
that
he was
time,
able to get you a nice new piano.
well, he didn't get it from me. I think he got it. I think it was that Vagos talking at that time. So he just decided to get it, and that's
it
a true
ended up
story.
being yours.
Yeah, and it
Wow.
was part of our house and part of the furniture, and my mom started dusting up and taking care of it, and I started messing around with it, and the rest is history. So I've been, I guess you might say technically since I was like 10, you know, or,
You've been playing since you were about 10 or so?
I mean really playing, where you start focusing,
Yeah.
learning, not just goofing off because your dad bought a piano home. But that's a true story. That had actually happened.
That's how it all started, huh?
That's how the whole thing started.
Wow.
Beautiful,
That's really
brand
cool.
new. Yeah, it's cool. It's funny. You know, they say the Lord works in mysterious ways. I would think
That
that's
was definitely
a very
mysterious.
mysterious way
Yeah.
to get a piano into our home so that Asaph can start taking lessons and grow up to be a pianist.
Uh-huh. And you weren't thinking or wishing for a piano before that.
No, that was the
Not
last
even
thing on
your
my mind. I was a kid. I was
Right.
thinking cartoons and, you know,
Exactly.
stuff like that. And of course, I think you know, I did go to the San Francisco Conservatory when I was a teenager.
Uh-huh.
I got that opportunity. That was for trumpet, though, even though I knew how to play the piano then.
Yeah. Wow.
Because, see, I thought I was going to be like another Louis Armstrong or Doc Severinsen or something.
Uh-huh.
I think the good Lord had other plans.
Life takes us on different paths.
Yeah, I
sure.
think for me, it was being a pianist via trumpet back
Uh-huh.
to
Oh,
piano.
wow.
Because, see, when you take those instruments like clarinets and flutes and stuff, you have to learn extensive theory.
For sure.
You really have to have a good knowledge of it because it plays one note at a time.
Uh-huh.
And I had spent years perfecting that, so by the time I switched over to the piano for good, I already knew all the theory. All I had to do was transfer everything from this to this.
Yeah,
So
just
I
kind
didn't
of
have to sit
transfer it
there.
over.
I didn't have to do this, you know. Something like that, you know. Yeah, enough of me. So let's see. Let me think. What else can I? Anything else you want to talk about before we have you sing another song? Any interest,
Oh.
hobbies?
Interest in hobbies? Let's
Yeah.
see. It's kind of funny. I always tell people I'm too busy teaching and preparing lessons to have time to do anything else. But let's see, what do I like to do? Oh, I like arts and crafts. I like knitting and crocheting. I like making like blankets and hats and things like that. Yeah, and like I love making stuff, but I never know what to do with it. So I usually make stuff and then give it away to different people and stuff. So yeah, I enjoy arts and crafts and sometimes drawing and painting. There's that new craze where like everybody's buying like the adult coloring books and saying it's relaxing and colorama stuff. Yeah. So I mean, I enjoy coloring and drawing and.
That was called the Volga Boat Song. That's an old Russian folk tune too.
Hey,
You're
cool.
making me think of folk tunes because you do all the cultural stuff. And
Hey,
all
yep.
that,
I do.
And Teresa, I guess you had a pretty good Christmas this year too?
I did. It was nice and quiet.
Oh, that's good.
You spent most of your Christmas in Billings though, with your family?
No, I spent New Year's in Billings and I spent Christmas on Blue Mountain.
Okay.
Very cool. Yeah, I spent Christmas here with my family. And my family usually opens things on Christmas Eve instead of Christmas Day. This year my brother worked until like 6 o'clock in the morning and then he was sleeping. So we actually did things the typical way. We actually opened stuff on Christmas Day this time. I haven't done that since I was little.
Yeah. Well, this is old anxiety. I didn't get a chance to play that for New Year's because we weren't taping the cafe.
Hey,
so
so this is kind of like the New Year's show?
Yeah, well,
All right.
I guess you can throw it in first New Year's show, first show, whatever.
Yeah.
So
First show of the season?
Yeah. But I'm glad you're my first guest, so
Thanks.
you and I will always share that. 20 years from now, you'll be able to say, hey, I was the first guest on Asaph's Asaph Cafe.
Yeah,
With
and
you
I'll
two.
come back
When
and
he's-
visit again.
when
Yeah,
he's,
we'll have you
famous.
back on again.
Yeah, when he's famous. Yeah.
Well, you know,
Exactly.
speaking of getting famous, I'm not doing it for that reason, but you know, I'm on the verge of launching off that new Lawrence Welk show.
Hey, that
So
is
you're going
pretty
to be
cool.
one of my featured singers on there anyway.
I am, huh?
Yeah, I got picked up by PBS, but I'm still dealing with some funding issues and working out some kinks.
Yeah, yeah.
Hopefully
there's-
we'll start taping that show by fall this year. I'm talking about the
Oh.
weekly series.
Yeah. Oh,
The
that'll
weekly
be awesome.
series, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'll
we'll
come
see.
on every once in a while, sing a tune or two.
Yeah, well, you'll be doing more than a tune or two, because this will be all scripted and planned.
Oh,
I don't mean
awesome.
memorizing scripts. I'm talking about when I say scripted, as far as people know where to come out and stand and all
Uh-huh.
that. Just like when you saw that pilot,
Ah, yeah.
that was scripted. You can tell just because people knew exactly where to stand on camera.
Uh-huh.
And all of that. All that was scripted.
Kind of planned out.
It was planned. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
very
because
cool.
it has to be planned so it'd be smooth and
Yeah,
so on, and editing and everything.
exactly.
So,
This is kind of just impromptu to talk about
this is
anything
impromptu.
and
Yeah, this year we talk about
everything.
anything, but on shows like that, when it's like regular television, yeah, you have to plan that.
For sure.
And Louise Bundy, I have to thank her. She's that lady that did the ballet dance on there.
Oh, yeah.
She helped me write that show and put
Oh,
that
that's
show together.
awesome.
So she's the hostess of that show.
Oh, talented.
Yeah, and she'll be the hostess when we do the television series. And the good Lord bless me, and I get picked up by NBC or something like that. It's on. I mean, really on. Because they'll
Sweet.
flip the bill for the whole thing, and we'll be able to do more elaborate sets and
Uh-huh.
things like that. So we'll see what's going to happen.
All right. Start
But in
out
the
small and
meantime,
grow.
yeah, well, at least PBS is giving me a chance.
That's awesome.
Humble start.
That's great.
All right, what do you want to sing?
Somewhere over the rainbow.
You want me to do Somewhere Over the Rainbow?
Okay, I don't know what key you do that in, so let's just pick a key at random and see if it works for you.
Let's
Oh, you
see.
brought some.
I-
Oh, you came prepared.
Yeah. Well, I just have...
All right,
What
well,
a
you don't have to
Wonderful
do Over
World
the
and
Rainbow. And
Somewhere
what's the
Over
other
the
song?
Rainbow.
Okay, you want to do that
No,
one?
the other one is just What a Wonderful World, and I already did that one.
Yeah,
I
I
don't think
know.
people want to hear that one twice.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
That's
All right, let's
Somewhere
try.
Over the
You know
Rainbow.
the words Over the Rainbow?
Well, I have them here. If I don't know them,
Okay. Let's try it and see if you can do it. Let's try
I
this key
think I
here.
know it mostly.
Try it and see if that's your key for you.
Some...
Okay, we'll have to go a little higher, obviously.
Yeah.
The style you sing in, I call it opera style. It's a beautiful style. Let's try another key
Okay,
here.
let's
Hold on.
see.
Hold on, I'll get it.
All right. That might work. Yeah. Alrighty. I'm glad the show is impromptu.
Well, that's the thing, you know. This is just impromptu. Let's try
Okay,
that key and see if that works.
sure.
If we have to go higher, we can.
Let's try that. Okay.
Okay.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies so blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why, oh why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly on the rainbow, why, oh why can't I?
Beautiful.
Awesome. Good job,
That's my
Asaph.
favorite song.
Well, this is the fun thing about backing singers up is you can make stuff up. You don't have to necessarily play
Hey.
everything note for note on the page. I can see it if you're doing
Yeah.
a musical. That's different.
Uh-huh.
a particular
You
song.
can just kind of play around and just.
You can improvise your way around when
Yeah.
you're backing someone up singing the solo. That's always
Uh-huh.
fun.
Yeah, exactly. And I like it that way.
Yeah, it's just
Uh-huh.
more fun that way. I mean, there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with the other way, but it's just kind of restrictive. It's like
Yeah,
Scott
this is
Scott Houston, the
more-
famous
more
piano
free,
teacher
You know? Uh-huh.
from Texas. He says he calls it just restricting, just playing note for note on the page.
Uh-huh.
So he's got a
Yeah.
TV show, the Piano Guy, based in Texas.
Okay.
And, he gives piano lessons the non-traditional way.
Oh, yeah. When you
So-
said piano guy, I thought of there's the
Scott Houston.
duet, the piano guys that are
Not those guys. I'm talking about the piano guy who's the actual piano teacher on
Ah.
television. He gives piano
He
lessons
gives-
on his television show.
piano lessons on
Yeah,
TV.
yeah, but he does it in a
Wow.
non-traditional way where it's fun.
Oh, that's really cool.
And the problem I have with classical music, it's not that it's bad. The problem I have is when you have all these teachers insisting that that's the only music, period, and that no other music matters.
Yep.
Because think about it. I mean, okay, the classical music came out around the 16th, 17th century, right?
Oh, sure.
Now just think, before they had television and cameras and video, they had music prior to the classical era
Oh,
and the Baroque
definitely.
era, like let's say the year 1015.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They didn't have any Chopin back then. So to sit there and say that by the time we get to the 17th century, that you just have to do classics, I have a real problem with that. When there's like all these centuries before and after.
Oh, sure.
See what I mean?
I
There's
mean,
so many styles of music that just to tell some kid he's got to play Mozart or Chopin, that's kind of dull.
And I mean,
actually.
I just like singing in that kind of the operatic classical
Yeah, and
style.
I'm not
and-
knocking that.
you know,
I'm just saying that there's just so many varieties of
You know,
music.
but I like listening to just a big variety
Yeah,
of
and
different
that's my point.
kinds of music. And,
If you wanna
oh,
do-
yeah.
if you wanna
I mean,
do
there's
Chopin,
so much
you know.
good stuff out there. Oh, definitely.
See? There's nothing wrong with all that, but just to tell someone that they have to do nothing but classical in that period, when there's all these other centuries and periods of music.
You
That's
can be
the
a little
problem I
bit
have.
more
Yeah,
well-rounded. Oh,
and when
yeah.
I was at the conservatory, they were always trying to make people do nothing but Chopin and classics.
Oh, boy.
And there were a lot of rebels like myself, and like this one guy, there
I
was this
can
one guy
imagine.
that, his name was John, he used to sing Pagliacci's Vesti La Juba.
Uh-huh.
But he wasn't going to be singing that stuff, he wanted to do other stuff too.
Oh, yeah.
And so there were a few handful of us at the conservatory that just resisted that. We just like rebelled in a
Oh.
respectful way. We're like, oh, I'm not just going to be doing Pagliacci all day long.
You got to get out of the box a little bit.
Yeah. And so I don't mean that critically when I say that. It's just, that's the way it was at the conservatory. They were always making you do such and such.
Oh,
And
I
you know,
understand that.
And another problem I have with the school system, when they teach you how to play classical music, they try
Uh-huh.
to make you play that thing like somebody else instead of like you.
Hey.
And here's a good example.
Uh-huh.
When you were a kid and you were learning how to handwrite,
Yeah.
you learned the ABCs
Oh,
of the letters,
you had a specific
and you
way
have
how
your
to do it.
specific style of
Uh-huh.
writing. You're never going to handwrite like me, and I'm never going to handwrite like you. So why are you
Uh-huh.
going to tell some student he got to play that thing just like Van Cliburn or like Chopin or somebody, instead of just learning the notes and let him
Uh-huh.
express it within the rules of the notes of the
And
song?
it's the ones that have developed their own unique style that have been the ones that have been successful and
I know,
famous.
but in these school settings, they try to make you play like everybody else, and you can tell when someone's trying to play, just like if you try to write like me or handwrite.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah. My mom sometimes she says there's
No,
certain
get your
people that play the
style.
notes, some people play the music.
yeah, you want to put some feeling in it and do your
Hey.
style.
Why not?
And
Absolutely.
even with some of the piano teachers I had, some liked what I did, and some
Uh-huh.
try to say, Asaph, you can't be adding notes to that piece. You got to stick with the rules.
Buy their book, buy their
Yeah,
rules.
and
Yeah.
so some of my piano teachers over the years probably thought I was a nut.
Oh, boy.
And there were others that were like this, go ahead, kid. We'll let you have freedom. We'll teach you the notes, you just express it. I've had that happen,
yeah.
so. But, that's school for you,
Exactly.
They squeeze your little box, Anyway.
If I
But-
ever had
You're
to
out of
be
the
in a
box.
box, I wouldn't make it.
No.
Well, you just had to be at the
Me either.
conservatory when I was there at the time. In fact, there was one young lady who was in my solfege class. Are you familiar with solfege?
Ah, yep. You mean the do, re, mi, fa,
Yeah,
sol, la, ti,
you
do,
sing a
that
song,
stuff?
but instead of using the words of the song, you use the syllables do, re, mi, fa, sol, la,
Ah,
ti, do.
yep.
So
I
like
remember
if you
having to do that.
no, they really forced that at the conservatory, and I didn't have a problem with that. So like for example, if you're going to do Mary Had a Little Lamb, here's the scale do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, right? So do, re, mi, the third note. So if you do Mary Had a Little Lamb, it's mi, re, do, re, mi, re, mi, sol, sol. You know, stuff like that. But then that's a crude illustration, but then they'd get to have you do songs out of a songbook, and you had to do, you know, the syllables do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And that was pretty cool. I admit that was cool.
It kind of helps you develop your skills a little bit.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. But, you know, if you really want to be a good musician, all you have to do is just practice.
That's
really
true.
the bottom
That's really
line.
true for anything.
And in popular music, there's no saying, if it sounds good, play it. In popular music, in jazz and
Exactly.
pop and so on. Because I'm going to tell you, when you're out there in the world, nobody's going to care whether you got a master's degree or whether you're in the classic. They just want to know one thing: can you play this song for this project?
Are you good?
Because, you know, my cousin Greg in San Francisco used to play for a singer named Rick James.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever heard of him?
Oh, yeah.
Freaky Girl. And I went to a recording session where they were recording music years ago for Rick James. These guys didn't even know where middle C was on the paper. But they were charting out,
Hey, but that didn't
composing
matter.
stuff in an actual recording studio. They were laying tracks for a song that Rick James was getting ready to sing.
Wow.
And it was one of the most amazing things because these guys didn't know no theory. They couldn't read any music.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that?
And they were
wasn't that-
recording stuff. Yeah, and they sounded good. I mean, you'd be like... So, if you go to school, you have an advantage, obviously, because if, like, Disney calls you and they want you to read a thing for a soundtrack, that's the advantage. But other than that, you know, just have fun with it. I don't think people should take themselves so serious. Like, oh, I've got to sound like this guy here, or I'm not going to be able to make a living.
That's what I do. I mean, I
fun with
sing.
it.
I just enjoy it. You know, like around the house, I'm always singing. You know, like I'll be like sweeping the floor or cleaning something, and I'll be like singing something, and my mom asks me something, and I'll answer, and then I'll like go right back like to whatever I was singing.
All right,
Do
well...
you sing in the shower?
I think everybody kind of does.
Yeah, I'm a virtuoso when I'm in the shower in the
For
car with
sure.
the windows rolled up because nobody
Exactly.
can hear me. Then I'm Mario Alonso.
Yeah.
And on that note, we're going to wind down our first show. It's
All
already
right.
done. Let me make
Yeah,
some acknowledgments,
thanks so
and I'll
much for
have you
having
take
me.
us home. Anyway, this is our first taping of Asaph Cafe. And again, we have Susannah Cragwick with us, our guest, and she'll do our second show, I'm sure. And Teresa Toigo, one of our regulars. And Linda Brooks Curtis is not here, and Emmett's not here, so I want to wish them both a Happy New Year. And we'll have you take us home. So until our next show, ladies and gentlemen, Maranatha. You can do a little Christmas song if you like. Do you remember that Christmas song we did,
Do you want me
the
to?
Oh Holy
Do you want
Night?
me to do a holy night?
Yeah, you want to do that
Yeah, I
now?
can do a whole holy night. Hold
Let's
on,
get
I
it.
can remember the words.
And here's your note.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and ever pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees and hear the angel voices anointing
until our next show, Maranatha.
All right.
Wait a